Place with everyone dying, we want you to pay a lot of money for drugs. You can't do it.
Wake Up Missouri with Stephanie Bell, the Zimmer News Team.
Affordability is number one.
And now introducing your host, Randy Tobler.
Say that I joined Chiefs Kingdom in my disappointment to the decision that was announced earlier about the Chiefs' intention to go to Kansas. Arrowhead Stadium, I think Clark Hunt said it the best in his statement, that his father brought that team to Arrowhead because it was the best venue for fans in the United States. Arrowhead Stadium is still the best venue for fans in the United States. Every game at Arrowhead is like going to a Super Bowl. It's more than just a brick and mortar facility. It is what Lamar Hunt built. It is his legacy. And I think making a decision that tells Chiefs Kingdom that maybe that's not so important anymore is at least disturbing to me, and I'm sure to other Chiefs fans.
Well, Missouri side of the river, Kansas Cityans and Missourians getting a lump of NFL coal in their stocking this Christmas season, as the Chiefs announced yesterday that they are moving to Kansas City, Kansas. And big deal, big handout for them in terms of some support. Well, that'll be, of course, the topic of the morning, all morning this morning on Wake Up Missouri. Welcome in. I'm Randy Tobler. Stephanie Bell there. John Marsh, some well-deserved R&R around this Christmas time, and Drake Whitman. We are inviting your calls and your texts on that. 573-874-9390, 1-800-529-5572. That tops the news stack today, Stephanie, and I'm not really surprised. I think they played Missourians in the legislature like a fiddle. What say you?
I have a bunch of Chiefs gear I'm going to pile up in my white elephant gift selection. Yeah, I'm disappointed for sure.
So I wonder, at Mike Keogh's statement there, Governor Keogh sounded a little bit like, Chiefs Kingdom's not going to be very happy about this. Let's see what happens. I know there are a lot of business owners around the downtown area there, around Arrowhead Stadium, around where things are happening, probably very disappointed, right? Because that's going to, I would think, impact their businesses. Maybe not. Maybe people will stop at the local restaurants and sports bars and pubs and merch shops, on the Missouri side of the river on their way to Kansas City. Who knows? I'm curious. If you're a Kansas City Chiefs fan and you go to every game, or you go to several games, or you go to one game, what will you cross over and go over to Kansas and attend those games? Drake, you go to every game. Will you be going over to Kansas or not?
I
know you don't.
Yeah, that's I'm disappointed. I really am, because in my lifetime, actually not even in my lifetime, in the past 10 years, I've seen two Missouri teams in the NFL move away. And at least you guys moved less than, across the country. Because I was a St. Louis Rams fan. I have been since I was a kid. And watching that broke my heart. You guys can deal with it. It's 30 minutes more that you'd have to drive, if even that. So, it sucks that they're in Kansas now. I think those dirty, I can't say those words on air.
It's not now. Apparently it's 2031.
Yep.
Is when the move is happening, but yes.
It'll be moving, over there. So we have 5 more years of the Chiefs being good, and then, I
imagine there will probably be an amazing uptick in attendance, and people will want to sort of get their last revelry in. Nick Schroer, Senator Schroer from the St. Louis area, who, like me, was well aware of what happened first with the St. Louis Cardinals moving to Arizona under Bill Bidwell, then the Rams moving to L.A., said in this on his Facebook, the NFL has been a huge embarrassment as a whole. Not only to the people of Missouri, but across the nation, the NFL has become a laughingstock. From allowing the collusion between billionaires to break their own rules to move the Rams from St. Louis, parentheses, Chiefs owners included, going softer on legal hits than the Lingerie Football League, to the laughable end racism statement they painted on their end zones, and he goes on and on and on. He voted against the bill, apparently. I don't remember that particular vote, but I think he voted against the bill to help to use tax money to fund that. I think there'll be a lot of people on both sides of the fence. What do you say, Wake Up Family? 573-874-9390.
James says, I'm a huge Kansas City Chiefs fan, and I am so glad Kansas just got duped to spend their tax dollars on a new stadium for the Chiefs. What a bunch of idiots.
Justin says, hey, the only winner in all this Chiefs drama is Drake. You now have a free pass to hate on the Chiefs. Merry Christmas.
Yeah, I don't think people fully realize, especially in mid-Missouri, the hatred for Kansas is real. And I think this just further ignites that hatred. There are people I know who love driving west who refuse to stop in Kansas, to spend the night there, to spend a dime there. That's kind of like people hate Kansas.
On the other hand,
I think there are people who, when they move, will refuse to go.
On the other hand, you're a businesswoman. You have several businesses. It's business. And until fans realize that it's business, they don't care about you. They talk about you and how they want to bring the best team to you, and they're all about you and making a great product. They're only about making money. And as long as their product makes money, and then when it comes to getting funding so their product can make more money or allow them to make more money to spend on players so that you pay more for tickets and merch, it's a business. This isn't a charity. It's a business. I don't blame them. They should do what they can do.
And only time will tell if this is actually a good business decision for them. I sympathize with what Governor Kehoe said in just that there's a history there. And his comments remind me of, I got a chance to go to Fenway once, right? And there's a magic to it because of the history. And yeah, it's old and it's small and it's not you don't have all the new fancy things, but you still go when you get a chance because of the history there. And I think there's something to be said for leaving Arrowhead, and I think Governor Kehoe's comments were right on.
You're sounding like an older person about tradition and nostalgia and history. What's happening to Stephanie around this time? Have you not been getting enough sleep, Stephanie?
I have not been getting enough sleep.
Well, I've not been to Fenway, but I've been to Wrigley a couple times, and I feel the same way about that. It's the same way.
Yeah, and on top of that, just pure stadium building, the Kansas City Chiefs Stadium right now is the last of its kind, where it's a big bowl and it's super loud. The way that it's built is to be loud, and a lot of these new domes don't have that. So, the Kansas City Chiefs, I never liked them, but I hate them now. That's where I'm at.
Oh, well, Drake's telling us how he really feels on this a day before Christmas Eve, 2025. It's funny, that we remember how we've been mentioning it over the last, month or so. It's like things are eerily quiet. We're not hearing any momentum. No one's saying anything. And, when Jackson County voted against it, right? They had a vote there and they weren't for it. In a way, do you blame the Chiefs for doing what the Chiefs need to do?
Yes, 100%.
Oh, they owe you a team in Kansas City, Missouri.
No, they went from a great state to these low-life, just terrible people over in Kansas.
I don't deny that. But really, I don't know. I don't remember my geography enough. Have I been over to West Kansas City? I think maybe I have once. Maybe there was a barbecue joint we went to there when the girls were.
I've been to a few soccer tournaments there.
Yeah.
But
so how
no
far?
one chooses to go there. That's why they have to lure you in with mandatory stays there with soccer tournaments. For real.
How much of a drive is it from Arrowhead to where this proposed stadium is going to be? Does anyone really know? Is it 5 minutes, 10 minutes? Not just across the river?
I don't know. I do think we'll dig into that.
Yeah, we'll have to see.
I'm also feeling sad this morning because did you see the basketball game score last night?
No. Oh my God.
Oh,
I didn't.
We had a border war game with Illinois last night. Mizzou lost by 43 points.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was ugly.
Well, if we only had more NIL money, darn it.
I'd repeat the text from my family group text, but I cannot. 91-48.
We just need more NIL money. Don't worry, it'll fix it.
We do have one of the best recruiting classes for next year. That's all.
Oh,
I'm not going to say
next year.
It's a rebuild year, but it's a rebuild year.
I know. We had a couple, last year we were good, and the year before that we were good. So what's going on?
No.
Or was it just last year?
It was last year. The year before that, we went 0-18 in conference
Oh, that's right.
play.
That's right. So we were only good for a year.
Angela says, not a sports fan, but know the loyalty of those who love the Chiefs. I think this mirrors my sentiments.
So
what they did was akin to a surprise divorce, and I think it will cost them some fans. I don't think it was a surprise.
What if you have Chiefs fans in your life and you've like wrapped a Chiefs hoodie under the tree already? Oh, no. Do you pull that back? I've gifted Chiefs stuff in the past. Yeah. I don't know.
I saw it coming. I mean, I just think they played Peter against Paul. They got the best offer they could. They got the very best they could from Missouri, and then they went to Kansas and said, "Can you beat it?" And they did, apparently, right? Why else would they move?
Well, it's even worse for Missourians because we got on our hands and knees and said, "Please, Chiefs, stay. We don't want another football team to leave. We had the Cardinals. We had the Rams. Please stay." And then we finally got something put together, and then they say, "Oh, well, that's nice. You're on your knees and all, but I'm going to go for this other state that."
Maybe there's a life lesson there. Maybe we should have just played hard to get and say, bye-bye. Well, go have a nice day. We're not going to do that. Think of all the time and energy and effort wasted on trying to lure the Chiefs when there are so many more existential things happening in our world that the legislature could have dealt to, like property taxes, like income taxes.
I think there's a point of pride, like Drake said. Like you've got tons of kids who grow up who want to root for their home team. Like you said, there's tons of businesses that benefit from those teams being around. I think, the numbers bear out that the economic development from a professional sports team and the economic engine that it is, not only for the team, but for the county and the state. I think it's really important. People, NFL fans who are, really big are traveling fans, right? So, I think it's an economic loss to the state for sure.
No, that's true.
And
that's true.
And so, I think I'm maybe a little bit different than some people in that. I think.
Justin says they're going to build the new stadium by the Kansas Motor Speedway, an established business district about a 25-mile drive from Arrowhead. It's already established, so.
That doesn't make me.
Donovan says Governor Keogh's just trying to save face for being the governor to lose the Chiefs. Chiefs, goodbye and save my taxes. Angela, have a Chiefs burn party. Get some marshmallows and hot dogs.
I'm not there yet.
Get all your merch.
That's like the 6th stage of grief or whatever, right? I'm still in the first stage.
Unfortunately, it's going to be too warm to have a burn party on Christmas, so you'll have to try it maybe later on in the month or early in the new year. Well, it is a bit of a sad time for Chiefs and Missouri Chiefs fans, for sure. There's a lot else going on in the world. We talk about health care, the cliff coming for those who get subsidies, and for reform in general with Joel White at 8:08. And Paige Schulte from TPUSA at 7:35. Stay tuned.
She just got back from America Fest.
We're going to talk to her.
Yeah.
It's Wake Up
some of the most lethal surface warfare ships. It will be actually the most ever built other than our submarines.
Well, that's President Trump. Here is Stephanie Bell, the Daily DC Rundown.
And the Trumpifying continues. We've got the Trump Kennedy Center. We've got the Trump Institute of Peace. We've got the Trump card. Now we're going to have Trump-class battleships. Trump announced approval for the Navy to build 2 new battleships as part of this new, of course, golden fleet, because Trump's obsessed with everything gold. The ships will have guns, missiles, hypersonic weapons, and high-powered lasers. They'll take about 2.5 years to build, with the fleet eventually maxing out about at 20 to 25 ships. Randy?
It sounds exciting.
Oh, yeah, I forgot Trump accounts. We got the Trump accounts
don't forget
as well.
the Trump cards, the Trump accounts, the Trump center, the Trump whatever, the Trump watches. He says they're 100 times more powerful. So introduce the Trump factor, they're probably 4 times as powerful. It's okay.
That might be fair. All right. While we're talking battleships, we are still continuing to seize oil tankers that are carrying sanctioned Venezuelan oil. Trump, I think, Randy, you said yesterday there won't be troops. Trump says Maduro's days are numbered. He's not ruling out war, and he's hinting at possible ground strikes on drug facilities and potentially sending troops.
Depends how the midterms are looking around February or March.
That is heating up. Also heating up is the Epstein saga.
Oh, yeah.
Tuesday morning, we got 11,000 more files, documents, videos, court records, FBI files, emails, news clippings. There are some folks who are really mad because, of course, Pam Bondi, DOJ, was supposed to release everything on Monday, and we're not getting everything all at once. So Rep. Thomas Massey and some others are drafting a resolution to hold Bondi in inherent contempt, trying to fine her daily until all of the files are released. Even the files we're getting are pretty heavily redacted, except for Bill Clinton's face. He's not redacted.
Right, he's not redacted.
And
That's
Trump
good.
did comment on the Clinton pictures. He says he thinks it's a terrible thing that Bill Clinton's face is shown in these photos. I don't think it's a terrible thing. This is what we've been waiting for, right? We didn't get to this yesterday, but on Sunday, if you recall, in October, Paramount acquired the Free Press, which is Barry Weiss's organization. Yes. And apparently there's some controversy because she pulled a prisons segment, an El Salvador prison segment that was supposed to air on Sunday's show really close to when it was supposed to air. Internally, there are some emails leaked calling the decision political, and I think they're saying that the White House and others declined to respond to this story, and folks are saying government silence is a statement, not a veto, and people are accusing Barry Weiss of being political. Barry Weiss is saying, no, the story needed to be reviewed, and we're going to eventually play it. It's just not ready.
Well, it's good reporting, isn't it, to have, if you're pointing the spear at someone, doesn't that someone get to respond? I thought that was just sort of basic journalism. Well, and that was apparently part of the objection Barry Weiss had, right? That they didn't interview any government official.
That's right. And we knew this takeover. I mean, I think Barry Weiss's Free Press is awesome.
It is.
She's been very popular, and we knew there was going to be pushback internally on her, and we're seeing it already come to fruition. We are also, apparently Trump suspended 5 major offshore wind projects yesterday, and we're already... More than half of Americans are already thinking about 2028. At some point, Randy, we should do a rundown of everyone who is in the mix.
Well, I know that Pritzker's trying to lose weight. That ought to tell you something.
We can take the new pill.
Has America been fair to
Well, the top of the news and the middle and the bottom of the news is the Chiefs leaving Kansas City. Well, not until 2031, right? Isn't that right, Drake? 2030?
2031 is when those dirty, lying, low-life
dirty,
bags
rotten
of trash.
scoundrels.
Yeah,
they're business people. They just pick up and they go. They're like every business, right? They take their marbles to wherever they get the biggest tax break, the biggest subsidy, the biggest handout in the name of economic development.
You know, this is where you and me probably agree the most. It's that I would be completely fine with this if it wasn't subsidized by the government. Like if we weren't paying for them to, the government getting on their hands and knees to get a sports team to move 30 minutes or stay where they are. It's just ridiculous.
Now, the argument, though, at the time was, and I think it was a pretty solid, there was a strong argument.
It was a pretty strong argument.
That it was the use taxes in and around the stadium and, that area, right, that was going to pay for it, right? So maybe there's something to be said there. Something's been troubling me, though. What's going to happen with Arrowhead? Were they going to demolish it? Are they going to turn it into something else? Could it be a soccer venue?
I could see a soccer venue. They have a really cool museum of all the Chiefs history there.
Uh-huh.
So, maybe they'll turn it into like a full-fledged museum. That'd be cool.
Yeah.
If it's just a stadium over there and then like all of their trophies and cool stuff is.
Well, how do you repurpose an NFL stadium? I think about what happened to the TWA Dome just down the street in St. Louis. It sits vacant most of the time. Do they use it for any sporting event to speak of?
The Battlehawks play there.
Oh, do they? Okay. Well,
the economic impact of the stadium is not to be, diminished.
Maybe Drake, you can suit up and join the whatever next league is coming. I think there may be. I got to tell you, if there were a league to replace the NFL without all of the nonsense and the it's a bunny who's playing on the Super Bowl?
The Battlehawks in St. Louis, they've got
the UFL.
UFL.
Yeah,
it's been pretty popular.
So why do we? Maybe,
but it's not going to fill up it's not going to fill up Arrowhead.
You'd be surprised.
Really? Okay.
No. Okay.
How big
weird.
is the stadium they have in St. Louis? Do they play at the old Rams Stadium?
Yeah, they play at the old Rams Stadium.
Okay.
It's really funny. Normally, probably 7 out of the 8 teams, it's a pretty small venue or there's not many people. But in St. Louis, oh my God, that place is rocking when the Battlehawks are playing.
Yeah, it's on my bucket list to go to a game. But according to the Chiefs, the current stadium generates about $30 million in annual tax revenue for the state of Missouri, supports about 5,000 jobs there locally. And then, there's downstream effects of just economic activity in the county, which they say is about almost $600 million annually. So, it's a big economic impact to the state.
Yeah. And the local businesses there. I just wonder what the impact will be on them. It's got to be a big deal. If you were in the process of maybe expanding your business or thinking, I imagine a lot of business owners probably put any development or expansion plans on total pause, But I wouldn't mind seeing a league emerge that was really just about less hoopla, less Bugs Bunny and whatever. Who's it? Bugs Bunny?
We've seen more competition. Think about what's the new. The Live Golf, remember that league started up to challenge the PGA, right. And then we just reported on there's a new women's basketball league that's trying to challenge the WNBA. So we've seen more competition amongst professional sports leagues, organizations here as of late.
There's just an awful lot of hoopla and the big flames when they run out of the tunnel. Well, I just want to see a really good football game with really good players play really well. I don't need to see all of the celebrations and all of the what. I just want to see good football. Maybe there's league is out there.
The new women's basketball league's called Project B. It's a 5-on-5 league launching in late 2026.
Well, there you go. Well, maybe.
Well, you want to know, there is a competition out there. It does have a lot of the theatrics, and some would say more.
What?
But it's better football.
What is it?
It's college football. We talk about how it's basically a professional sport.
Yeah.
I love college football so much more than, NFL.
I've heard a lot of people say that. In fact, I told you about the gaggle we had around the table the other night at little Sable's birthday party. And I think everyone was in pretty much agreement that at least when they if they take the NIL money, they ought to play in the bowl game, you know. But we talked about that, and a lot of people said, give me college football any day over NFL. Yeah, at least 2 of the 4 or 5 guys around the table said that.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's already having an impact on NFL. The ratings of college football are better than, the NFL. And, they have it in 3-4 days of the week. And they'll sometimes spread it among, like, we have 2 days of college football, and one of those days is like one game that once a season it'll matter. And that's on the Friday night. Everything happens on the Saturday. It's all compact. And
so you think spread it out?
Well, I wouldn't even say that because, you have to think these are still students technically, quote unquote, but you still have to, it's already dominating the football market, and I'd be surprised if a third, minor league team, the Battlehawks or the UFL, even though that's spring ball, it just won't compare to the two giants.
Maybe the college should go to a 4-day school week and be off on Mondays to where they could play on Sundays, and that way it would really give some competition to the NFL. What do you think? Think Moon Choi's listening? Maybe he could start a movement there. Yeah.
So you're going to
through Friday classes.
Back when you were in college, Randy, did you have you had your Tuesday, Thursday classes and your Monday, Wednesday, Friday classes, or you had it spread out like that?
If I remember, yeah.
I know it was a long time ago.
I don't know those kind of details. Whatever. Yeah.
Well,
that was the way it was. Yes.
If you got rid of Fridays and made all classes Monday, Wednesday, Tuesday, Thursday, there's an alley for it.
Why not? Well, everything's online
because
anyway.
It builds weaklings. Back in my day,
listen to this.
When I went to Truman State, regardless of what major you were in, you could be majoring in. We didn't have underwater basket weaving, but we did have things like art or like teacher, whatever. You could major in whatever. You still everyone had to take calculus. And so I think it was my freshman year, 5-hour calculus. I had it every day at 8 a.m. Every single day.
No online. You had to show up in the classroom.
Yeah. Yeah. And you know what? Guess who shows up to work every day?
Yeah. We had to show up. We had to show up for classes too.
Every day.
I gave a lecture a couple years ago. They asked me to talk about contraception, hormones and stuff up at the Northeast at the KCOM up there, at the medical school. Mm-hmm. And it was not very well attended. And I was told, they'll watch it online. And I was asked to do it again the next year, and I said, I don't think I'm going to do that. If people can't even come and show up for a lecture, I'm not going to do that. I spent a lot of time preparing. It was just sort of, not that I didn't enjoy who was there, and we had a nice interaction. But when I give a lecture, I like to interact. I like to ask questions and really see if they're awake. Oh, I caught a couple of them asleep. But I thought, man, what's that all about? Everyone just sort of dilly-dallies around and watches the lecture on their spare time and everything. I don't know. I think it's a good opportunity to teach discipline and life habits and get up early, be productive, meet your partner, get married, have babies. That's a good formula.
That's not what college is for.
Yeah.
Also now you're arguing against yourself because aren't you the one who originally proposed the 4-day week?
I'm kidding. I was kidding about that. I don't know. I just think that it would be nice to have. I don't want to see Arrowhead Stadium just sit there like an albatross, like a fossil.
I want to see it burnt down.
My gosh.
The text line is lighting up. If you have opinions on the Chiefs, 573-874-9390. Angela says it was a surprise to loyal fans who thought loyalty matters. The rest of us knew. Will they add insult to injury by changing their name to the Kansas Chiefs? Says Terry. Yikes.
KCMO and Jackson County failed to compete. Crime and unsightly property all around Truman Sports Complex. Lack of available restaurants. So maybe it's not a big deal. Maybe the business is not booming there. I don't know. I've not been to a game there. But
Ben says they went to the Battlehawks game last year, 30 to 40% capacity. He said, but St. Louis has the biggest fan base. And I think that's what we know is Missouri fans are real and passionate, and they show up and they support their teams, but they can also be pretty vindictive, I think is the right word. There's some serious hatred for the Rams still in Missouri. I think rightfully so.
You have some right in the producer studio.
I know.
Here.
This is very interesting. Gary says, they really the area around that complex and even downtown, I guess, said fans had to drive 30 to 45 minutes to find a decent place to eat. No way would ownership of each organization invest billions in a failing recipe. Same reason that people are choosing Johnson or Western Wyandotte counties.
Wyandotte. Is it Wyandotte?
Wyandotte or Dot?
I don't think that's right.
Is that that sounds like an Indian name, Wyandotte?
Well, there were Native Americans here at one point, so.
Counties in Kansas to live rather than failing Jackson County, Missouri.
And you're seeing partisan finger pointing, right? The Democrats are blaming Governor Kehoe. A lot of Republicans are blaming the local Democrat elected leaders there in Jackson County.
No, I don't like to blame leaders. I like to blame the people who elected said leaders. They could have chosen different. When you elect blue, you end up singing the blues in these big cities. I'm sorry. It happens all the time. It's happening in a city near you. If you live in Columbia, you elect blue, the city turns to blight. People pooping on the streets, sleeping in the alleys, and on the streets. And then any wonder that businesses don't want to come to a place like that, Well, hopefully, we're already seeing it. Chief Schluty and friends are changing things up, right? And they're bringing some law and order and structure to the downtown area. So 573-874-9390. It is sad when a great tradition does that. Let's talk to Kirk, who has Kirk is welcome to the Chiefs merch garage sale of the air. What do you have for sale, Kirk? No, just kidding. Go ahead, Kirk.
Well, I consider myself a Dot, somebody from Wyandotte County.
Wyandotte.
Right.
Okay, Wyandotte.
I grew up in Kansas City, Kansas. Moved to Missouri in 1988. I'm one of those dreaded Jayhawk fans that lives around this area.
Ooh, wow.
Hang up now. Hang it up.
But I was a Chiefs season ticket holder for 17 years.
Yeah.
I've been a Chiefs fan all my life. They won the Super Bowl when I was 10 years old.
Uh-huh.
And then, of course, they've won what they've done recently. I agree that, the Kansas City, Missouri didn't step up to the plate. The state of Missouri probably did, but Kansas City, Missouri is a blue city.
Yeah.
And it's going to be just like Columbia will eventually become, and what St. Louis is now. It's going to be blight everywhere.
Yeah.
And, Kansas City, Kansas isn't any better because they're run by Democrats, too.
Yeah, well,
it's just a matter of time.
Anytime the demon cats get control, everything. Well, Merry Christmas to you.
Merry Christmas.
All right, thanks for the call. Well, I think Kirk's sentiments are being illuminated by a lot of people. Is there a new weight loss option? Easier than a shot? We'll talk about it and make Missouri thin again. Let's call it that after this.
It's Wake Up Missouri.
Missouri healthier, and that means thinner again, because there are definite cardiovascular and other benefits from being thinner, losing that extra fat. There's no doubt that the options are expanding, just as happened with the injectable GLP-1s, as they're called, the Ozempic for diabetes and its sister Wegovy for weight loss, just like Mounjaro for diabetes and Zepbound for weight loss. There's already a pill out of a GLP-1 with Novo Nordisk that's the semaglutide, the same thing in Ozempic and Wegovy. But now Wegovy, that pill version for diabetes had been approved previously. That's called Rybelsus. Well, now they've approved it for weight loss. So if you're overweight and you have other risk factors, it is approved for you. And weight loss on the pill, about 17% on average. I've seen people on the shot lose more on the particular semaglutide, which is the generic name of that, the active ingredient. So the pill that has been available for diabetes, now FDA approved for weight loss. What do you think about that? Do you think it's a good or bad idea? If you're overweight, if you're obese, do you think it's a good idea? Something you'd like to do? I think it certainly gives people a jump start. It does really help curb appetite. It helps people feel fuller quicker as they're eating. And I think the biggest thing is it really teaches folks what it's like to not have food dominate the conversation in your mind. If you're stressed or if you're bored, a lot of people, it's just sort of in their mind. What am I going to eat for lunch? What am I going to eat for dinner? I feel like I need a snack. It's dominating my thoughts. And that's what we hear on people getting the shots. Now, the pill, of course, whether or not it'll be paid for by your insurance is a whole nother story. And the usual story about brand name items like this is they're just not very affordable by the vast majority of people covered by insurance. Just because something's FDA approved doesn't mean it's a benefit on your insurance plan. That's often a misunderstanding that a lot of people have. But, the study on this for weight loss that include over 300 adult participants showed that this once daily pill has to be taken on an empty stomach 30 minutes before eating, drinking, or using any other oral medication. Lost about 16.6%, almost 70% of their weight, compared with 3% for those on a placebo. Look, if you're going to do these, and more people are going to be using these products in 2026, this should be, by the way, this should be available early in 2026, according to Novo Nordisk. Make sure that you take that opportunity to sort of help hardwire and rewire your brain to where food doesn't become, something that dominates your thoughts. Yeah, it's an enjoyable thing now and then, just like maybe watching a football game or listening to a piece of music, but it shouldn't dominate your thoughts all the time. Just saying.
You think that football dominates my mind?
No. Would you think that, Stephanie?
Never.
No, we would never say that.
Well, Randy, it looks like you need to take that pill because it seems like food's on your mind all the time.
It is a lot, because it is. And I live around food because my wife's a nutritional person and a culinary expert. And so it is something that I fight a lot. I think we all do, don't we?
Food noise? Yes.
Yeah, food noise. Yeah.
The amount of charcuterie I'm going to eat in the next week.
Is it going to be amazing? Epic? Yeah.
Just cheese diet.
Little marmalade in there too, yeah?
Perhaps.
No? Yeah, some Dijon mustard, yeah.
Some salami. Crackers. Cheese.
Are you a sharp cheddar cheese? Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. When we come back, should SNAP benefits restrict what they can be used on? Missouri thinks so. Talk about that at 7:08.
In the months ahead, we will hire an architect and a contractor and get to work on the 5+ year timeline to build a new stadium.
Well, that's Clark Hunt announcing yesterday that that new stadium will not be in Missouri. It'll be in Kansas.
Boo.
Governor Kelly, Laura Kelly, has high hopes.
Everyone committed to doing what's best for Kansas and for our future. You don't often see this type of bipartisanship in our politics today, but that's how we do things here in Kansas, especially when the stakes are high.
And Governor Mike Keogh is not one bit pleased.
Safe to say that I joined Chiefs Kingdom in my disappointment to the decision that was announced earlier about the Chiefs' intention to go to Kansas. Arrowhead Stadium, I think Clark Hunt said it the best in his statement, that his father brought that team to Arrowhead because it was the best venue for fans in the United States. Arrowhead Stadium is still the best venue for fans in the United States. Every game at Arrowhead is like going to a Super Bowl. It's more than just a brick and mortar facility. It is what Lamar Hunt built. It is his legacy. And I think making a decision that tells Chiefs Kingdom that maybe that's not so important anymore is at least disturbing to me, and I'm sure to other Chiefs fans.
At least disturbing to Governor Mike Keogh. I can't wait till the next time we talk with him. Hopefully he'll give us some thoughts about what's next for Arrowhead, for that area of Missouri. I mean, it's a pivotal economic driver, at least for many weekends a year and beyond in many years with the playoffs and so forth. So what becomes of it? Maybe it's a wake-up call to the people who elect the blue elected officials in Jackson County and in Kansas City to say, hey, guys, what the heck did you do? You let this slip from us. You let the area go to blight. It wasn't a great place to be around and in, except for that shining stadium. Maybe it's a bit of a wake-up call to metropolitan leaders throughout this state to say seems to be the trajectory. It happened in St. Louis. It will happen in Kansas City. Will it happen in Columbia, Springfield, Jefferson? Who knows? I don't know.
This is just, I want to comment on her saying, this is what bipartisanship gets you done in Kansas. What is there to legislate over there? There's not a single darn thing over there for you to legislate. And the only reason why they are a state in this union is because the federal government stops us Missourians from going over there and making the greater Missouri area. They are such a bunch of losers. Like, I can't imagine waking up every day and being, wow, I'm so happy I'm in Kansas. Wow, this is the best place in the world. Their football teams suck, both Kansas State and Kansas. They have losing records. They have for the past 10 years, and they had to go poach a team from Missouri so they could actually have a winning record, and look at how they are now.
I'm here for it, Drake.
Kansas folks would say, though, we feed America with all of our agriculture there, the golden fields of wheat and beautiful, agricultural plains that they have there.
Here's how you can tell their state sucks in that.
Boy, the hatred is just unbelievable.
Kind of like J.D. Vance said about turkey. Like, turkey sucks because people only cook it on Thanksgiving. If it was good, you'd be like, I'm making turkey this weekend. People are like, oh, my goodness. If you say I'm making prime rib or beef tenderloin, people are like, oh, no one's ever excited for turkey and no one cooks it except for the day you have to cook it. Have you ever heard of anyone being excited to go to Kansas or being like, where are you going on vacation this year?
Topeka. Oh, my God. I can't wait to go to Topeka,
heard
Kansas.
That. You get to go to a work conference. Where is it? Yeah, no one picks Kansas except for the Chiefs, I guess.
And no, that stands to, they are sucking now, and then they thought that they could strong-arm us into more money. Now the Kansas government's going to subsidize a team that's probably going to go, 7-10 for the rest of time.
And if you weren't feeling bad enough already, Danny texted us, I had a nightmare last night. I dreamt Illinois beat Mizzou 91-48. Glad I woke up. What was the score? Yeah, that was a nightmare. They got murdered. So it's not the best morning. Sorry, guys.
Oh, man, we got a lot. Now,
Scott says he's laughing his bleep off. He says, you go, Drake.
On the other hand, Kansas is the home of, I would say
You're having to Google good things about Kansas because you
no, Dr. Ryan Neuhoffel, No, I'm trying to. No,
I'm trying to come up with something good about Kansas.
You don't know what I'm Googling.
I can see.
Dr. Ryan.
If you had anything good off the top of your head, you could have said it already.
I'm trying to get the accurate. Dr. Ryan Neuhoffel was one of the fathers of direct primary care medicine. Thank you very much. Mm-hmm. And that started in Kansas.
I'm not saying
so.
Don't
tell me that Kansas is a vast wasteland of nothingness. For anyone who's experienced direct primary care would know that maybe there's something there.
Vote now.
He started New Care Family
Drake
Medicine.
And Stephanie
Dr.
or Team
Ryan
Randy.
Neuhoffel. I think it was Topeka, Kansas. I was trying to get the actual city. I have talked with him. He is one of the great founders, the great founding fathers of a movement that, frankly, if our leaders in Washington, D.C. could get their act together about health care, instead of bickering about extending subsidies for unaffordable health care. So there, good things do happen in Kansas.
You're a Kansas sympathizer, Randy.
Darren says, like many, I'm a lifelong Chiefs fan. My first thought is don't let the door hit you on the way out.
Oh, boy, man, the hatred is just boiling up. Evan says, I like the oil derricks. Don't like John Brown.
Terry says someone has KDS. Kansas derangement.
Tanner says Kansas sucks, Randy. Well, but it's not like Oh, man, you guys.
All Missouri, you got to send us your first name. All Missouri trees lean west because Kansas sucks. I mean, have you been through Kansas? I mean, the only thing I remember is the tumbleweeds. Like there was long stretches where there wasn't anything. You didn't see anything. You couldn't find a potty. Like it's a miserable state.
This is hilarious. I mean, people are really, really worked up with lots of oil, says Brian. There you go. Some wells are $5 million. So.
It's Jared.
It's windy in Missouri because Kansas sucks in Illinois.
and Illinois blows.
Jeez.
Wow.
Whoa. Why don't you tell us how you really feel? 573-874-9390. I wasn't Googling randomly. I know exactly what I was looking for. Dr. Ryan Neuhoffel. I believe it was Topeka, either Topeka or Wichita, one of the birthplaces of direct primary care medicine, which, smart people and small businessmen will at least businessmen and women will at least take a look at that model. We're going to be talking with Joel White at 8:08, and he's with the National Council for Affordable Healthcare Coverage. And about this cliff, look, you can talk all you want about the Chiefs. You can talk about all this stuff, and I get it. That's a healthy distraction, I guess. That's fine. But but there will not be. I'm now hearing Republicans. I heard Jeff Drew, the guy that wasn't he New Jersey congressman who switched from Democrat to Republican a few years ago. Heard him on with Maria Bartiromo this morning, and he's talking about, well, I think we should work on a real reform solution, and we should extend things while we're doing that for another year while we work on the reform. In another year, you won't have the Congress. Do it now. Do away with Obamacare and replace it with real access to affordable care by letting people have their own deductible health care coverage, pre-tax, and HSA that they can use to spend how they want. Now, on other news, the Trump administration, this makes me very happy. This is a feel-good Tuesday for me. Canceled the leases on the these offshore projects. Did you see that up in the Northeast?
I did.
And that's a big deal. Trump administration has suspended leases for major offshore wind projects and major ones to keep building in federal waters. They say no more.
They say they're national security concerns.
Yeah, Doug Burgum said this is a national security issue because apparently in these areas where there's concentrated population density, it can interfere with radar. And, and you think about in an era of drones, I would imagine it's even more important because radar has to probably be more sensitive to pick up the difference between a twirling, turbine and a drone, let's say, something like that.
Yeah, so they said it creates some sort of clutter that obscures legitimate targets. And you're right, Randy, with drones. I know, like when I've heard that, like when they do the drone shows in the football stadiums, it messes with the radio signals and stuff. So people have trouble broadcasting because the drones interfere with all of that.
Well, remember they had problems with the drone surveillance and the different signals and the interference in Butler, Pennsylvania. Remember that was part of the problem there. They didn't have their act together, and there were different. I don't know whether it's related, but
the projects on the list to be canceled are located near New England, New York, and Virginia.
Right, right in the backyard of all the blue strongholds. Oh, get out the violins! Breaks my heart. Well, and as a conservationist and a lover of animals, you hear about what it does to, wasn't it the whales that it was, something about the vibration was messing up whale communications as well. And
I mean, that was an issue when
taking out eagles and stuff.
That was an issue that was heavily discussed here in our state when we started putting in wind farms up north because, it can affect bird population, eagles, and then also the other one that is really serious is bats.
Yes.
And Missouri, I learned, is like one of the bat capitals of the world.
Oh, the eastern fruit bat,
The Indiana bat, actually.
Oh, is it the Indiana bat?
But those are basically based in Missouri.
Those bats.
But you think, you think about all of the things that bats do with respect to agriculture and bugs and all of the things. So you have to be, I think, careful when you're citing those projects about how it might impact everything else.
Now, this was after this is apparently another way to get at these projects and stop them because the executive order, I think, was struck down by a judge earlier in the month or late last month.
Yeah, this focuses on the permitting.
Yeah, and this is a permitting instead of the other way. One way or another, and this is just unreliable power. Yeah, it may contribute a little bit when things are good and the wind's blowing, but a lot of wind blowing about the Chiefs. Woo, on the text line, 573-874-9390. Come, bring it on.
Serious.
Weigh in. Let's get it out of your system before the beautiful holiday starts tomorrow with Christmas Eve. I mean,
good luck finding that Chiefs sweatshirt you already wrapped under the tree.
Man,
there's going to be some last-minute shopping this morning, I think.
Wow. The question on the table next segment, should SNAP benefits be limited so that people can't buy the unhealthy stuff? Well, Missouri thinks so. And now the feds are behind it. Stay tuned.
It's Wake Up Missouri
So what do you think about the Missouri SNAP waiver that has apparently been approved by the Department of Health and Human Services? Brooke Rollins wrote Governor Kehoe, just a few days ago. Dear Governor Kehoe, the Food and Nutrition Service is pleased to approve the Missouri Department of Social Services request to operate a novel demonstration project to amend the statutory definition of food for purchase by SNAP. And they want to exclude candy, prepared desserts, and certain unhealthy beverages. So very, very interesting. This is, I think, pretty good stuff. They want to make like energy drinks ineligible. No SNAP household in Missouri may opt out of SNAP eligible food restrictions project. According to this waiver request, the purpose of the project is to evaluate the impact of excluding select food items from eligible purposes. You know, I see a lot of that in purchases like that. You see a lot of foods that are just like, not the kind of thing that you'd really. So excluded foods include candy, means a product that involves the preparation of sugar or artificial sweeteners in combination with chocolate, fruit, nuts, caramels, gummies, and hard candies or other ingredients that have the form of bars, drops, or pieces. Prepared desserts means a processed, shelf-stable, ready-to-eat. This would be something like, the little snack cakes and stuff like that. This would include foods made mostly out of chemically modified substances extracted from foods. Beverages would be carbonated and non-carbonated soft drinks, colas, ginger ale, near beer, root beer, lemonade, orangeade. If it contains 50% or less by volume of natural fruit or vegetable juice, it would be excluded. Concentrates intended to be made into beverages which contain 50% or less by volume. Energy drinks, which contain caffeine, guarana, which is a natural stimulant, taurine. They may also include ginseng, mineral salts, vitamins, high doses of organic acids, amino acids. So it's things like energy water. Isn't that one you have? Energy. Don't I see that on your once in a while?
I think I just threw away my Celsius. I love a Celsius. I mean, what if we did like when you read about this stuff, like the 80-20 rule, right? Like some of this stuff, I think for the most part you shouldn't be eating, but I mean, you should have a little bit of grace for people.
I think they're missing a lot of this. I mean, they ought to really, the one thing they ought to eliminate is fried foods and things that come in crinkly packages. I mean, are there many things that come in crinkly packages that are good for you? I mean, they market popcorn. I joke about my veggie straws. I haven't bought veggie straws in a long time. I'm like Trump. I have this addictive personality, so I just can't have it in the house. I just do. Not going to do that.
Sounds like you need to take that pill.
It's tough when I
eliminate your food noise, Randy.
It's tough when I go to the exclusive. We took the kids. We were reminiscing about the past, and my adult children went with me to the exclusive membership club, and we got that hot dog and a soda deal for $1.50. Man, that was special. A rare treat around holidays. All the rules go out then, don't they? Hey, we're talking with Paige Schultz, just fresh back from TPUSA. Schulte in just a little bit.
I think just local news
Don't just attend AmFest. Let it mark you. Let it stretch you. Let it challenge assumptions, strengthen convictions, and maybe even make you a little uncomfortable, because that's where growth happens, in those moments.
That's Erica Kirk as she opened the Turning Point USA AmFest 2025. And we're so pleased to talk to Paige Schulte. She's the president of the University of Missouri Turning Point USA chapter, and she was in attendance there. She speaks to us from Arizona. How you doing, Paige? Thanks for getting up so early to be with us on Wake Up Missouri.
Yes, thank you for having me on. How are you guys?
We're doing great. So how inspired were and are and do you remain after that experience? Tell us about it.
It was amazing. There were so many great speakers, some surprise speakers, and I would just say it was a really great experience overall. We got to hear a lot of new things and ideas, and yeah, I would just say the speakers overall were super inspiring.
Well, talk to me. So every time I go to a conference, there's always somebody that I'm super looking forward to seeing. So who was that person for you? And then there's always someone who I kind of overlook on the schedule, but they're kind of like a surprise where you're like, wow, I had no idea that person. I would feel so inspired by that person. So who are those two people for you? Yeah, I would say I was really looking forward to J.D. Vance, obviously because he's the vice president of the United States. They also were talking about a surprise guest coming in who I thought was going to be Trump, but it was Nicki Minaj, which was still really cool. And then someone I kind of overlooked who was really good was Jesse Waters from Fox News. He was great. I was not expecting his speech to be so funny. It was kind of just talking about some stories he had with Donald Trump, which was really cool. So Jesse Waters and this guy named James O'Keefe, who's an undercover journalist, were two people who really impressed me. Same with Benny Johnson. Yeah, talk to us, though, a little bit more about Nicki Minaj, because Randy seems to have mixed feelings. But, obviously a super popular figure among folks in your generation. How was she received? Were folks excited for her to be a part of the movement, excited to see her speak, or was there a little bit of discussion amongst the audience about her attendance? Yeah, everyone was actually really excited when she came out. She's a big figure in our generation, and she's technically classified as the queen of rap. So, I would say she's one of the best female rappers and singers too. She really had a good speech. I don't think anyone was expecting her to come. So, but she's just a really big figure in my generation, and everyone loves her, and for her to come, that was actually huge. That was just really big for, a big thing. And, afterwards, she was trending on Twitter forever, and I just think everyone, on X, and I think everyone was really just shocked, and I just think it really did make a huge impact, so. How do you parse what some in the very traditional conservative, and let's just say more religiously oriented people from a traditional sense, struggle with the fact that, some of the lyrics to Nicki Minaj's songs are anything but conservative, traditional, How do you parse that? How does that all reconcile? Just a big tent and we just take everyone on their own and, meet them where they're at, or what? Yeah, I totally understand that. And I think I think she's starting to see and that she's able to change. And I think she's changing and starting to realize why conservatism is right. And she actually said on stage that none of her concerts and everywhere she's performed and all her songs and everything she's ever done, she said it's not more important than this, referring to Turning Point and the event, America Fest. So I thought that was really inspiring. And I think it's good that people like her are similar to change or wanting to change. I just think it's good. I think we'll accept anyone if they're willing to change or want to do good for the world. And she certainly was making a major push for protecting Christians in Nigeria and particularly women and the way women are treated throughout the world, right? That's a big push as well. Yeah, she was just saying she was thanking President Trump for that. She was talking about protecting women and that women and men should be happy being themselves and that they don't need to change and just things similar to that. Now, talk to us about actually getting there, because this is in Arizona. You're in Columbia. When I was in college, I didn't have money to fly to Arizona. And so did you take other folks from Columbia there? Were there other folks you know from around Missouri from TPUSA chapters? And are there, for folks that maybe missed out this year but are like, hey, I'd like that same type of inspiration, I want to go next year, if you join a chapter, are there like scholarship opportunities, or how does that all work?
Yeah. So Turning Point, so I obviously took a plane, and myself, my sister, and two of our other executive members from Turning Point went, and then we had two other just regular members from our chapter go. But my family also went with me, so that was really cool. But so basically we took a plane, and with Turning Point, you can apply for this thing called a travel stipend, where basically Turning Point will reimburse you, I would say, up to $250, which is really nice and helpful. And same with hotel. They'll let you pay $50, and they will reserve the hotel for you and everything. So that's really helpful money-wise. If anyone's wanting to do that, that's for Turning Point members, students, things, just mainly Turning Point students.
We're talking with Paige Schulte. She's the president of the University of Missouri-Columbia Turning Point USA chapter. Okay, we do have to talk about the obvious, transparent, and actually celebrated by many on stage, from at least what I saw, differences within the party. Some on the left and then the media have called it a major chasm that's going to tear apart the party. And you got the Tuckers and the Candaces on one side and Bandon, and then you got Shapiro and others on the other side. Vance recognized it. Others recognized it. What was the buzz about that, among the rank and file TPUSA attendees?
Yeah, so I think mainly, first of all, I just want to say, I appreciate the fact that Turning Point allows people who disagree to come and speak. I think that's a really great thing they do, and that's what Charlie wanted, and that's what he would do. So that's a great thing that they invite people of differing opinions. I think the big argument is over Israel and the Israeli government. I think people like Ben Shapiro are very defensive of Israel, and I think people like Tucker Carlson are very critical of Israel. And I think the main message I kind of took away is that it's okay to be it's okay to criticize Israel's government without being anti-Semitic. And I think right now in Gen Z, the main movement is America First. I think a lot of people, and conservatives, at least in my generation, are kind of just done with the United States getting involved in foreign wars and sending money to foreign countries. So I think that's kind of what I took away from it. And I think I think the America First movement is good, and I think that's something we should keep pushing to do. But yeah, Ben Shapiro was basically kind of just calling out people like Tucker Carlson and Megyn Kelly for not speaking up about Israel. And they kind of just said, hey, we shouldn't deplatform. And then Tucker and Megyn are we shouldn't deplatform people. This isn't right. It's okay to be critical of Israel without being anti-Semitic. So yeah, I just think certain conservatives are pushing for the conservative, or for the America First movement.
What about the whole rift between Candace Owens and Erica Kirk? Was there much talk about that? And Candace, basically saying that there were insiders in the TPUSA movement that knew about it. Maybe she told Piers Morgan complicit. Then she denied that. She walked it back in that big interview a week or so ago. Was that a topic of conversation over a beer or whatever?
Yeah. So basically, yeah, Candace Owens, I guess she was a close friend of Charlie Kirk, and she's been asking a lot of questions about what really happened with Charlie Kirk's assassination, because I don't think she thinks the government is telling us everything, which, if I'm going to be honest, I don't really think they are either. But I just think that I think it's okay for her to ask questions. I think some of the things she's saying are a little outrageous, maybe conspiracy theory-like. But I think it's okay that she's asking questions, and that's her First Amendment right. I don't agree with what she says about accusing people of Turning Point of doing certain things. And I know that in her and Erica's meeting, I think they kind of solved some things. And I think she kind of understands that maybe it wasn't actually people from Turning Point betraying him. But yeah, they had a few people talk about that and kind of just calling her out. And some people saying it's okay for her to say what she wants. That obviously the accusations are a little ridiculous, but I think it's okay for her to ask questions. And I think it's good to ask questions. So
Erica,
some of them might be. Yeah.
Erica Kirk, basically said that, if he runs, and I assume he will, that J.D. Vance will be endorsed by and backed by TPUSA. That was one, I think, maybe unexpected sort of forward revelation. How about the other one we heard about? Maybe in parallel to ongoing sort of the debate style tour that Charlie Kirk made famous. It was iconic. But I thought I heard something about a parallel religious movement, a faith tour, if you will, for Turning Point USA. Did you hear anything about that?
Yeah, they announced, I think it was like Make Heaven Crowded, something like that. I think they announced a tour like that, and I did see it was coming to St. Louis. So I think they are doing like a Turning Point faith tour. So if anyone's interested in that.
Do you see any event coming? Do you see any event coming to Columbia?
So we're trying. We may be doing a speaker event, the Turning Point tour. We're not sure yet, but that might be something that's in the works. So we're going to try.
But what's going to be happening in St. Louis?
In St. Louis, that'll be the faith event. I think the Make Heaven Crowded tour. I don't know what all that consists of yet, but yeah, they just announced the schedule release for that, and I saw it's in St. Louis. So yeah, I think it'll be some sort of Turning Point. It'll be a bunch of Turning Point faith contributors, I assume. We'll be there. And
that's
speaking.
Exciting. We're talking with Paige Schulte. He's president of the Turning Point USA chapter at Mizzou. How's the growth at your chapter? The last time we talked, things were growing leaps and bounds. And if folks want to get involved, either to contribute, maybe they have students involved there, they'd like to get the word out, how can they contact you, become involved, either through support financially or becoming a member, let's say?
Yeah, so we have social media, and we also have an email. If you want to email us to contact us, our email is tpusamizoo@gmail.com. We have multiple social medias. Our Instagram is tpusa_Mizzou. Facebook is just tpusa Mizzou or Mizzou tpusa. It should pop up if you look it up. Same with X, just Mizzou tpusa. And we also have a TikTok, which is, I think, Mizzou tpusa. So just feel free to contact us on social media, contact us through our email, and we'll definitely get back to you as soon as we can.
Well, thanks for your leadership, being a student and leading a movement that is a movement within a large movement as well. We really commend you for that, Paige Schulte, and all the best as things move forward in 2026. Have a Merry Christmas, a very happy and healthy and prosperous New Year, and we'll look forward to talking to you in the new year.
Yes, thank you. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas to you. Oh, that's inspiring to see young people involved in an upsurge movement. A third of the people at America Fest were young folks, and it's good to see. When we come back, Drake brings you stories of the weird, wild, and wacky in just a moment.
It's Wake Up.
would be all. Except for this.
Well, it's the holidays, Randy, and Ole Miss is celebrating in a huge fashion. They broke the Guinness World Records for the most amount of people in one group wearing Santa hats.
Oh, really?
Yes.
How many?
68,002 fans were wearing Christmas hats on the college football playoff game this last Saturday.
Wow.
And that beat the record that was held by the Angels, which was 30,000. So they over doubled the amount of Santa hats that were worn. And it seems that the Tulane, the away team, they did not get any Santa hats, so maybe we should launch a little investigation into that.
So how was that organized ahead of the event, or was it just something that maybe was part of the football planning?
It was organized for the event. Have you seen like an NBA game, like a big NBA game? Like
long time ago, we were in Orlando at Disney World. My son went to what's the team down there? The Magic?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
I went to an NBA game.
The Magic.
Yeah, I went to
they sometimes for like championship games or big games, they'll give out hat. It's a t-shirt and hat game.
Sure.
So they like if in the NFL, if you win this game, they clinch a spot in your division. It's a t-shirt and hat game. They hand out t-shirts and hats, and it's a great time. So they try and organize the color of everyone there by giving them clothes, and the Santa hats.
Okay.
Is what the Ole Miss Rebels did.
Yeah, and in some they have the team color, rags that they float around, right?
Yeah.
The flags and stuff that they do. Yeah.
Stephanie, would you wear a Santa hat if, just in general, are you a big Santa hat person?
I have a whole bin of things. You guys weren't at the Columbia Christmas Parade. I have Santa hats. I have a cute little elf hat that has elf ears on it. I've got headbands with things that bounce around. I have a whole bin of like fun holiday headwear.
Do you have antler hats?
Yes, I have antlers.
Reindeer
Yeah.
antlers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I got Santa sunglasses.
Wow.
I got.
Are they meta?
This is why I'm so sad that Party City went away.
Yeah, it's going to be so warm on Thursday. I can't. What is it, like pushing 70 degrees in mid-Missouri? I mean, even warmer, I guess, in southern Missouri.
Yeah, getting a little cooler than what I saw over the weekend. Let's see. Thursday, high of 63.
Okay, so
but Saturday, high of 70.
Can you imagine? Is that going to hurt? I mean, will plants want to wake up, and maybe then if there's a freeze, will that hurt the plants? I don't know, that have gone into hibernate, into wintering.
I'm not your girl to ask about plants.
Yeah, plants don't hibernate. I don't know. If anyone is out there has the green thumb, I'm seeing buds on the trees for next year and on some of the bushes. So I wonder if that's going to hurt them. A warm up, and then the sap starts going up, and then it gets frozen, and things crystallize and turns into a giant Missouri version of Frozen.
You're such a negative Nancy. I'm thinking this is a good opportunity. It's going to be nice that you can get out and walk on Christmas Day and over the weekend.
Well, that's true.
Right?
That's
Eat your
true.
food and then go on a nice
You're talking
walk.
about that cousin walk?
Air.
Talking about the cousin walk? That
No,
happens like on Thanksgiving. That's what you're talking about?
Drake does? No, I'm not doing one of those walks.
Whoa. I didn't say anything here, Stephanie. I don't know why I'm getting stray bullets here.
I don't know why we would think that. I don't know.
Well, I'm just wondering, Randy, what are you going to do about it? If your tree's budding and it gets cold again?
I just worry.
Are you going to bring the tree inside?
I just worry. I've already mulched my Chicago fig. I've got the Chicago figs. They actually overwinter, and you get these little figlets. You get these little tiny figs. They're beautiful little things. Put a little bit of some pungent cheese on there, Stephanie. That is a major, beautiful little hors d'oeuvre to have. Hey, let's talk about this healthcare cliff. I know it sounds a little, weedy, but it really isn't. It's a big deal for you, especially if you're getting a subsidy, maybe someone you know or love is, and especially if you're wanting healthcare reform and it's not happening. And it may lead to a shutdown. Joel White talks with us in a few.
to retire their primates.
It's your morning addiction.
Say, listen, on top of all your COVID all over the place with everyone dying, we want you to pay a lot of money for drugs. You can't do it.
Wake Up Missouri with Stephanie Bell, the Zimmer News Team.
Affordability is number one.
And now introducing your host, Randy Tobler.
Welcome back into the third hour of Tuesday's Wake Up Missouri. In mid-Missouri, it is a foggy day. Wow. I mean, it looks like London or Seattle or somewhere like that, doesn't it, today? Wow, be careful if you're out on the road. I mean, you come across the corner and you're right on top of someone's tail, especially out on Highway 70 with all the construction going on. There was a huge backup yesterday, so be very, very careful.
Did we ever figure out what was going on? They said it was a parking lot, and I know Hauswirth was saying he had checked everything and there wasn't a crash or anything.
Man,
there were people who were really stuck.
Well, I mean, it was a near crash, and there might be a near crash coming in governance at the federal level when we're here at what might be called a healthcare cliff. For many who receive subsidies for their Obamacare exchanges, for the rest of us, actually a much larger number of people who keep waiting for the Republicans to get something done with real healthcare reform, repeal and replace Obamacare. Nothing seems to be happening. In fact, there's a discharge petition on the table for a vote coming up. Let's talk to Joel White. He's from the Council for Affordable Health Care Coverage, happens to be their president, and he joins us now. Happy holidays, Merry Christmas, and boy, will it be a Happy New Year, Joel? Thanks for being with us.
Good morning. Merry Christmas.
It doesn't seem like a Happy New Year the way things are unfolding, especially no matter who's where you're at. All right, if you're getting subsidies, some 20 million people getting subsidies, looking at their premiums going up, or if you're looking as a lever to see some real change, I don't see anything positive happening.
Yeah, well, I think if we think of Obamacare as the Grinch, what it's taken away was affordable coverage, and what it's given instead are these ever increasing premiums. And the problem that we're trying to address is the bonus subsidies that were done during COVID are expiring. But the underlying subsidies in the law are permanent. They never go away. Those subsidies remain after January 1st. So we're talking about a very discrete part of the Obamacare population and a limited number of subsidies that are expiring. And to your point, there's many, many more people, 160 million people, in fact, with employer coverage whose premiums are increasing just as much. And so I think the House and the Senate are going to work on legislation in January to drive all of those costs down for many more people than are currently affected by the Obamacare subsidies.
Just this morning on Maria Bartiromo's show, I'm on the way into the show, and I hear, well, maybe it was a recording of this guy, but Congressman Jeff Drew. Isn't he the guy who was a Democrat, then switched from New Jersey to Republican? I think that's him. And he was talking about extending the subsidies for a year while, quote, we work on a bigger fix. Well, if the midterms turn out the way it looks like they may turn out, and historically the way they do, that's going to be folly. Then nothing's going to happen. Now is the moment. And I don't see a Paul Revere. Joel White's a Paul Revere. You're calling him out, but where's the Paul Revere in either side of Congress?
Well, I think there's a couple of dynamics here, and I think it's really important to understand what Obamacare did was it made health insurance very expensive. And then it said, we'll give you a subsidy to help you afford it. That was back in 2014. And then during COVID, the Democrats added subsidies to it, bonus subsidies, and made many more people eligible. But the premiums never stopped going down. And so what the Drew and Chuck Schumer, Hakeem Jeffries bill would do is actually extend those subsidies, those bonus subsidies, for 3 years. So, but it wouldn't address what's been figured out since those bonus subsidies were enacted, that there are a massive amount of fraudulent enrollments, maybe as many as 6 million people enrolled in this program who are phantoms. They're not actual people. They've been signed up by fraudsters. And what that means is taxpayers send a check to the insurance company every month for 12 months for a person who doesn't exist. $21 billion every year we're spending in fraud. The Schumer-Jeffries bill does absolutely nothing to address that issue. It just perpetuates it for 3 more years. So that's not a viable solution. We're not going to do that. Congress won't do that. So the Paul Revere, I think, our Congresswoman Miller Meeks from Iowa had a bill that passed the House last week.
Mm-hmm.
And that bill would drive premiums down in Obamacare by 11%. It would drive premiums down for small businesses by 30%. So it's starting to get at the costs, not just in Obamacare, but outside where more people are. And I think that they're going to come together in a deal in first quarter of 2026 that relief's on the way, but not just for Obamacare. We can't just focus on Obamacare. There are certainly problems there. We got to go bigger. We got to help all 160 million Americans who work for an employer.
Well, we're talking with Joel White, president of the Council for Affordable Health Coverage, and I'm just not as optimistic as you. I just don't see the thirst for real reform. I just don't hear it. I mean, Rand Paul's got the best answer. Let Costco ban with all of its members. Let Sam's ban with all of its members. Let the plumbers of America, whether they're unionized or not, band together. Let the small business people who own trolley companies. My partner here on the air, Stephanie, has a trolley. Let the trolley company owners of America band together and get a plan. Let every American have an HSA where portable insurance is portable and it's pre-tax dollars. You can take your HSA and you can buy a direct primary care contract. You can buy. I don't understand why the Republicans who claim to be the party of freedom and liberty and choice don't provide that for Americans. I just don't get it. Well, hopefully it'll happen. So what about this discharge petition that bipartisan, I mean, is going to have to come to a vote, isn't it? I mean, or can Johnson continue to not have that come to a vote?
Maybe I'll be an early Santa here and give you a present. The Miller Meeks bill that I talked about that passed the House includes the Rand Paul bill in it. So that's these things are moving. Okay, that's what I'm saying. There's stuff that's happening.
Was that Thursday? Or did
that was last Thursday, yeah.
Okay.
Last Wednesday.
But that's not going to, I thought that wasn't going to see the light of day in the Senate. That's the problem, isn't it? Or no?
Well, the thing is, you keep passing these bills, you ping pong back and forth, and you start to get some breaking down of some hardness in the walls. So what's going to happen in January, though, is, as you referenced, this discharge petition. 218 members in the House, which is a majority, have signed on to the Hakeem Jeffries discharge petition.
Yeah.
And that would be a 3-year extension of these COVID bonuses.
Oh, man.
No addressing the fraud. No addressing the millionaire who's eligible for subsidies as a result of these COVID bonuses. That's already failed in the Senate, so it'll be sent over to the Senate, and that'll fail over there. But that may be a shell.
Okay.
Either Miller Meeks or the Jeffries bill will be a shell the Senate can then put stuff in there like the Rand Paul bill, like expanding HSAs to every American, like providing everyone a price before you buy a medical service so you know what you're buying. Those are all really good ideas, and I think the president had it right. Let's stop giving money to big fat insurance companies and give it to the people.
Well, you know, I hope that your optimism comes to fruition. You talk about transparency. I mean, I don't know. The hospital I ran 5 years ago, if you wanted to know what it was going to cost, we'd give you a good faith estimate. I mean, if you go into an operating room and they find something that they didn't expect and the surgery's extended and they have to use extra tools, I think everyone gets that there might be a little more cost. But we could do that, or the cost of a CT. So I don't know, the transparency thing, I hear a lot of people talking about that. And this was with all due respect, Joel, but I mean, you can come to my place. I can tell you exactly what things cost. You can go to most places. They can tell you. You just have to ask. So what's the transparency? Sure. I don't get that argument. What's lacking there?
What's lacking is consumer financial power.
Mm-hmm.
So I can tell you what a price is. I can tell you what it costs for a Land Rover. It's $120,000 or something like that. Doesn't mean I can buy it. Doesn't mean I have the wherewithal to buy it. And this is the problem that the president has identified. When the money goes to the insurance company, I can tell the consumer all day long what the price is, but if they don't control the money, they don't have power in the market. So what the president wants to do is give that money to the consumer so that they can control their health care dollars, so they can say, instead of paying $2,000 for the MRI, there's a just as good facility right down the road for $500.
Yeah, right. Well, and I think the more that people have control of their health care dollar and they're responsible for it, just like any transaction, they start asking questions. Right now, we see a lot of folks in our office that, it's like, well, I don't know. I don't know what insurance is going to call. 3 months later, I get this EOB and it shows me this and that. And I'm like, well, if you had to ask those questions up front and it was your money to spend and you had this account, I think you'd ask some questions. And this, you know what I mean? I think we've subrogated our responsibility and our obligation to be responsible for our health care. And I think if we kept the money and we paid the money and then got reimbursed from an insurance company, things would be vastly different, don't you?
I think it'd be greatly different. And I a long time ago, I worked on Capitol Hill. I was on the team at the Ways and Means Committee that created the health savings accounts, that law.
Yeah.
And I think those accounts are a great tool to empower those consumers. But I think what you're talking about is expanding them out to every American. And so what we did when we originally created the law was we constrained them to these minimum deductibles, max out-of-pocket limits.
Right.
Anyway, it's all a bunch of jargon. What we want to say is that every American should get an account. They should control that money, and then they can be empowered to go find the lowest cost deal. We have constrained this market and limited consumer choice. We want to free the consumers, as the president has indicated.
Well, Joel White, you are a patriot and a Paul Revere for healthcare reform. People need to listen to you and to tap into your organization, Council for Affordable Health Coverage. The website is?
CAHC.net, N-E-T.
Just remember Joel White, folks, and the Council for Affordable Health Coverage. He has got it right, okay? And, Joel, we appreciate you being with us. And, man, I'm sorry to hold your feet to the fire, but I want them to hear it so many times, so many different ways, because you have the right answer. You've got the right answer. I don't know why the numbskulls in Congress can't listen. Maybe it's because I call them numbskulls and you're more measured. That's probably why. Yeah.
Freedom is good.
All right. Hey, we love you, Joel. Thank you. And keep preaching the word, brother. We really do appreciate you being out there. And let's talk about that Christmas gift and see if it turns into a lump of coal or not later in January. How's that sound?
Well, it sounds like a Merry Christmas.
All right. You have a Merry Christmas and a healthy and happy New Year. Thanks for being with us.
Thank you, sir.
He's got it right. He's got it right. We just need to beat on the door of our congressmen and senators. Coming up, the Morning Market Report with Stephanie.
It's Wake Up
Morning bell tolleth. It tolleth for whom? Stephanie Bell with the Morning Bell.
We've got good news and bad news this morning. We had a third consecutive winning day yesterday.
Yay.
AI companies were up. Gold and silver hit record highs. So I think we have a half day tomorrow, and then the markets are closed on Christmas. But we had the Dow up 0.47%, the NASDAQ up 0.52%, the S&P up 0.64%. Leading the gainers yesterday were industrials, financials, and materials. Now for the bad news, Randy. Are we headed for Prohibition 2.0?
What?
If you are a bourbon drinker, apparently we've got too much whiskey and not enough people drinking it. I blame Gen Z and all their mocktails.
And how about the dispensary gummies?
There you go.
Yeah.
Yesterday, we got an announcement from Jim Beam that they're pausing production at their main distillery in Claremont, Kentucky, starting January 1 through the end of 2026.
That's a good thing, Stephanie.
They have other operations elsewhere, so they're just doing it at the main distillery. But the same facility produces Knob Creek, Baker's, Booker's, and Basil Hayden's, in addition to Jim Beam.
Wow.
They're saying that this pause allows them to upgrade while keeping up with customer demands, and they're going to do site enhancements and facility improvements. But Kentucky's bourbon industry is worth $9 billion. And the problem is whiskey production has now dropped to its lowest level in years, according to the Treasury Department.
It's not all bad, though, pausing. You know why?
Why?
That bourbon is aging another year to see a better day.
Well, and this is part of the oversupply issue. So Kentucky has a record 16.1 million aging barrels in warehouses. That's
a million?
16.1 million aging barrels. Woo. That's an all-time high as of October. They are paying a lot more in aging barrel taxes. That's up 27% from 2024. And they're also facing some issues with the trade war. So tariffs, if you remember, Canada banned American spirits from stores in March. That ban is still in effect in some provinces in Canada, and the EU threatened 50% tariffs on whiskey in March over our steel and aluminum tariffs. They've suspended the retaliatory tariffs in August for 6 months, but still that's got the whiskey industry in a little bit of a bind.
Wow.
And then, they're also facing, consumers have less discretionary income right now, and so maybe they're pulling back on some of their whiskey buying these days. Maybe you should buy more whiskey for...
Well, plus we have Donald Trump from the bully pulpit preaching don't drink, right? It's don't drink, remember?
Just Diet Coke straight into your veins,
yeah.
according to Donald Trump. But yeah, the Kentucky Distillers Association emphasized the need for certainty of tariff-free trade for long-term planning. But don't sweat if you've already been planning your vacation to Kentucky, because the visitor center at the facility remains open and you can do the full Beam experience, although they're pausing production.
Interesting question for the text line, 573-874-9390. I've done a little bit of some holiday, as Frank Sinatra said, the honey of the gods shopping. It hasn't gone down. Prices have not gone down. So from a supply and demand thing, you'd think that prices would go down.
But I think we're seeing is their prices have increased, whether it's from those barrel taxes or from tariffs. So, I mean, yes, there's an oversupply, but they're also paying a lot more as well. So,
you think there might be some legislative requests from the industry to say, give us some tax breaks? Maybe.
I mean, I don't know.
Be an interesting discussion, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, between this and wine and other products, it's something to keep your eye on.
Yeah, we've talked about how the Napa wine industry is hurting for the same basic kind of reasons.
Right,
yeah.
right.
Great report from Stephanie on the Morning Bell. So we'll take the good news along with the bad, because it's Christmas time, and it's all good because of the baby Jesus. We'll keep that in mind. Be back in a few.
Join Chiefs Kingdom in my disappointment to the decision that was announced earlier about the Chiefs' intention to go to Kansas. Arrowhead Stadium, I think Clark Hunt said it the best in his statement, that his father brought that team to Arrowhead because it was the best venue for fans in the United States. Arrowhead Stadium is still the best venue for fans in the United States. Every game at Arrowhead is like going to a Super Bowl. It's more than just a brick and mortar facility. It is what Lamar Hunt built. It is his legacy. And I think making a decision that tells Chiefs Kingdom that maybe that's not so important anymore is at least disturbing to me, and I'm sure to other Chiefs fans.
Well, that's Governor Mike Keogh lamenting the announcement that the Chiefs will be moving to, well, what would you call it, suburban Kansas City over on the west side, right, in Kansas. A sweeter deal than was offered by the legislature. Any way to put it?
I guess. I'm feeling the disappointment, as Governor Kehoe said this morning. It was pretty rough yesterday hearing that news. You guys are lighting up our text line. Randy had to Google to decide to find something good to say about the state of Kansas. We were all struggling this morning, and I haven't seen any positives about Kansas on the text line. If you want to weigh in, 573-874-9390. But I think the governor's right. I mean, there's a history here, and that stadium is special. And there aren't too many special stadiums left in America. And there's a reason, Randy, why you went to Wrigley. There's a reason why when I got the opportunity to go to Fenway, I went, right? There's a history and a magic about it. Yeah. And you don't get that building a brand new fancy stadium. And I think it's a sad day.
Well, there's no doubt. Ron says the only good thing to come out of Kansas is I-70. It is the conduit to Colorado, after all, where good things happen as far as the skiing and stuff. So a lot of Wake Up Missouri family are really upset about this deal, and I don't blame you. I mean, after all the loyalty, after all the tickets bought, the merch bought, the loyalty, and let's be honest, a lot of their revenue comes from TV revenue and ads and products bought by virtue of those ads. And I don't know, it just I guess maybe it's a little lesson in loyalty, right? Loyalty should be a two-way street.
Frank says, come on, Kansas is great. Cocker City is the home of the largest ball of twine, weighing 17,000 pounds.
There you go. Well, there.
We found one good thing about Kansas.
It is the birthplace, at least one of the many birthplaces of direct primary care medicine. So, there's something to be said there. Joining us now, the great, the magnificent Brian Hauswirth.
It's good to see you. My God, what a crazy morning.
What do you think, Brian? Were you surprised? I wasn't surprised at this at all. I mean, things were silent for the last month or so. Hadn't heard anything on the front here in Missouri about any kind of optimistic talk. It was very quiet. Mm-hmm. I think the decision was probably baked in the cake long ago.
There's a lot of, and I've heard different people react to this, and different people, Randy and Stephanie, blaming, some are blaming Quentin Lucas. I've seen people blame Quentin Lucas. I have seen people put the blame on quote-unquote Republicans. I'm not sure who they're referring to. Some specifically have blamed Governor Kehoe. Some have blamed the Chiefs. There's all sorts of things. But in the end, I'll defer to you. I'm not going to point the finger at anybody. No. They called a special session, remember, in September, and they did. And it did have bipartisan support. I noticed some of the Democrats criticizing in the legislature, criticizing the governor, voted for the bill that I can tell you they voted for because I watched it on the floor. They're complaining about some of the things right now. But the biggest thing that sticks out to me, and this gets back to the issue of term limits, and the media in Kansas City has completely missed this, that the fact of the matter is Governor Laura Kelly and Mike Parsons signed basically a truce. Mm-hmm. They signed a truce a couple of years ago and said they'd stop trying to take companies. They called it the border war. I reported on it extensively at the time. And what was happening before, Sam Brownback, specifically him, but now Laura Kelly, the Democrats doing the same thing. They were going in and taking companies, in this case, it'd be professional sports teams, and bringing them across the state line. Primarily, they're doing that with companies, offering them incentives and things like that. And Missouri would do the same thing, and they did declare a truce. Well, that truce obviously is, I would think, over right now. But it's a shame. I heard you ask the question this morning. I've been so busy doing KWTO and everything else. You asked how far from Arrowhead is this site?
About 25 miles. Yeah.
If that, and we don't, a lot of that is still up in the air, but people have, they've talked about the entertainment district. It could be,
near a speedway, right?
It'd be near the Kansas Speedway. I don't know. It's not going to be the same. It's just not going to be the same.
Yeah. Well, maybe they'll develop a Silicon Valley light there, and it'll be the birthplace of some wonderful commerce. Out of necessity, it's amazing how things happen. You never know.
Well, and Randy, you bring up an interesting point. When I worked in Carrollton, Missouri, doing the news at a Lil's Farm station up there, we had a station in Kansas City back in the flood of 93 and 95. I can tell you exactly when it was. And we reported on Wyandotte County quite a bit. Wyandotte County was basically considered a dump. It was, we have a lot of, it was run down. The people thought it was run down, and it's had kind of a renaissance, obviously in some parts, but with the speedway and everything, but that's where they're building it. That's where we're going to build this stadium at, but we'll see. But it's just, the governor clearly is frustrated with this, and Quentin Lucas also is taking some criticism, the mayor of Kansas City.
You know who's even more frustrated than the governor and Quentin Lucas and about 1 million Missourians? Governor Mike Parson. He's got that tattoo.
Yeah.
He's got that tattoo with Missouri and 57 and the Chiefs. You think he's going to get a reversal on that? I don't know.
And it was Governor Parson that signed the fact. Nick Schroer on his Twitter page. Look at it, folks. Nick Schroer put a Twitter, not being critical of Parson, but it's a video of Parson with Laura Kelly, and we're going to work together and stuff. And if you listen to it, I listened again last night. Basically, she contradicted herself with this whole thing. So, and even Stephen Weber, a Democrat, basically told, we could find it on Twitter, basically said, that too. In other words, he agreed that Laura Kelly contradicted herself.
Now, Nick Schroer said he didn't vote for the bill.
He did not. He had concerns about it because he feels like this is corporate welfare.
That is true conservatism. So anyone who thinks that it's a good, and as much as I how I feel about it, you can argue this and that and economic. Anytime a conservative wants to pick winners and losers, at least admit that it's not true conservatism, right? That's not what it is, right? You're not doing that. And that's what it amounts to when you're subsidizing and carving out and doing special things for special teams. And by the way, there's always big money involved in the halls of Jefferson City and Washington, D.C. and everywhere else, right?
And here's
follow the money, you'll follow the politics.
And the Democrats that are saying stuff like this, let's remind our listeners, and I understand where they were coming from, but that special session dragged on longer than it would have because the Democrats were mad because Keogh didn't put enough money into the tornado relief in St. Louis. So they had to tweak the law, get all that done again. There were three. It wasn't just the Chiefs. The tornado was in there, other issues as well, and it dragged on. It dragged on.
Well, remember, there were a lot of capital projects that weren't funded in the budget.
True.
Remember,
the MER was part of that too.
Yeah.
The MER that one was a slam dunk, but it's just it'll be interesting to see what happens.
But let's back off a minute. If you're truly a football fan, can't you still root for a great team?
Not in Missouri if they're in Kansas, Randy.
Yeah,
that is the one exception.
There's a certain look in the mirror,
look at the text line,
and say I'm irrational, but I'm admitting it.
Yeah. Exactly.
Just look in the mirror, right?
I think you just have to rank your priorities, and for most people, their hatred for Kansas ranks above all else.
That's funny,
especially here. But I grew up in St. Louis, and the people in St. Louis don't feel
and
that way.
And this isn't helping.
Yeah, I understand.
I've never had a hatred for Kansas. I don't know why. I don't know.
It's
because you're not normal,
Stephanie.
Well, I look in the mirror and say that daily. I look in the mirror and say that daily, but at least I have self-awareness of that.
Well, and I do think, we should point it out. We should point it out. I mean, it is new. I mean, it has to be pointed out that the governor of Kansas declared a truce, and she did, and then obviously coming over there taking the team, but
she's a Democrat.
but
it's another proof that you can't believe a word that a Democrat says.
In fairness, and a lot of people are saying that, but in fairness, the Republicans in Kansas were right with her on the stage. They voted. The Republicans in Kansas. It's interesting. The conservatives in Kansas call that the uniparty. There's really three parties in Kansas.
Yes.
The Democratic Party, the moderate Republicans who really control,
and the real true
and the conservatives, the Kobach group.
Yeah, baby.
But
Terry is accusing Randy of having KDS.
What's that?
Kansas derangement syndrome.
No,
and Jared is reminding us that it's windy in Missouri because Kansas sucks and Illinois blows.
It's everyone else that has KDS. I love all people. I don't care where they live. I don't care.
Well, I bet the lawmakers in Kansas, I bet their wives' boyfriends are very proud of them for moving the Chiefs over.
Shannon says only three things come from Kansas: sunshine, sunflowers, and son of a.
Wow. Oh, man. I've never seen so much vitriol on the text line.
It's amazing.
Wow.
Remember on one of the winners of the week a couple weeks ago, probably a month ago, and I stand by it. When I say something, I stand by it. But one of my winners of the week was Bill Self, the coach of Kansas.
Yeah.
I remember people on the text line did not care for that at all. But you know what? There is animosity towards that. You know, when St. Louis plays Illinois, Missouri plays Illinois, yeah, there's a rivalry there, but it's not the same. It's just different for the Kansas people. But if you go to St. Louis, it's not nearly like this. You go to Kansas City.
What happened last night? Speaking of border wars with the basketball game, how does that happen?
Total meltdown.
That was like when years ago, Mizzou in their really early play would play Truman State,
yeah.
and I mean. Like the score would be
91-48.
That would be the score of the Mizzou-Truman State game, that was the score of the Mizzou-Illinois game.
Yeah, it was. I did a recap on our stations this morning. It was pretty sure. This tells you everything you need to know, Stephanie. Mizzou's leading score was Sebastian Mack off the bench, 17 points. Mark Mitchell, 5 or 6. I don't have it right in front of me, either 5 or 6 points. He averages 18. That's the game. But Illinois had a freshman named Keaton Wagler from Shawnee, right out, not far from Lawrence. I don't know how Bill Self missed this guy. 22 points, 5 of 6 from 3. It was a beatdown last night. There's no way to spin this.
Wait a minute. Kansas guy playing for Illinois?
Correct. He's from Shawnee. He's from
beautiful.
Shawnee, Keaton Wagler. And I'm telling you.
As if we needed another reson to hate him.
I know. But he was 5 of 6. He was 5 of 6 from 3. And to Illinois' credit, the Fighting Illini, They won 91-48. They could have scored another 20-25 points. They called in subs basically.
What happened?
The defense did not. The offense nor the defense showed up. If you go to Power Mizzou and take that for what it's worth, a lot of them complain all the time. The people on there, some of them are blaming the coaching. I think it was the. Now, Gates last night in his press conference said he's going to stand up for his players, won't let them take the heat. He's basically taking. Yeah. He said it's on him.
Well,
it was not a. And then they got Florida coming to town, one of the top teams in the country, the Gators, defending national champion Florida coming in next. Oh my God!
Now, an unnamed texter says this would be the third NFL team to leave our state. Thank you, NFL. You know whating the fans again. Amen.
Well,
and
that is
amen
correct.
again.
And Jason Smith from Salem actually said that last night.
All right, back with more and the leftovers after this.
It's Wake Up
Well, it's time for leftovers here on the program. Little program note, Gordon Deal is going to be holding forth tomorrow. You hear him, of course, before our show every morning, and he'll be holding forth tomorrow from 6 to 9. And then on Christmas Day, a Fox News special, so hope you tune into that. And we'll be back on the day after Christmas. And I know Stephanie will be telling you about all of the gifts she didn't get. So that...
No, she'll be ordering it while we're doing our show,
that's
Randy.
true. Yeah, that's true.
I have been known to do a lot of December 26th shopping.
Not Stephanie. No, so anyway, that'll be a lot of fun. And Peter will be holding forth for Gary Nolan coming up just in a few minutes after our program. And but I think on the day after Christmas, it's not too early to start talking about that roundup of the year's big stories. So we'll be bringing some of those stories to you internationally, nationally, regionally, state, and local. We'll be talking about that. Lots to talk about. So what do you have in the leftover file, Stephanie?
Well, if you are thinking about gifting a gift card, you are not alone. The National Retail Federation found this month that 43% of shoppers plan to buy at least one gift card. Of course, you can get some cool local gift cards at shopmidmo.com. But also the report is saying that Starbucks estimates that 1 in 5 Americans will receive a Starbucks gift card.
Wow.
That's up from 1 in 7 in 2015. And if you haven't ever dug really deep, there's an article out there. I want to say it was in the Journal, maybe another business publication, but they argue that Starbucks is actually a bank and not a coffee company because they hold so much money in gift cards.
Isn't that wild? I got to tell you, I think that I think gift cards they're at once a savior, but also sometimes a cop-out, but I can never decide. Are they a savior or are they a cop-out? Drake, you a gift card guy? You give, you receive?
No. I mean, I don't like gift cards or cash or anything. Make the gift mean something.
Oh, okay. Well,
that's my take. And like if it's, for all the grand cousins that you don't know, get them a gift card. But if you care about someone, get them a real gift.
Well, Peter's going to be coming up after this. And Peter, I got to ask you, I was thinking of getting you a gift card for Christmas, maybe with a little bit of this. Maybe
Barry Manilow.
Barry Manilow's greatest hits.
Barely man enough for me.
No, you don't want any of that. Okay. Well, do you know Barry Manilow? He has lung cancer. Did you hear? He was diagnosed with lung cancer.
Smoking's bad, everybody.
Apparently, he smoked Camel cigarettes for, I don't know. I heard it reported that he was a big-time smoker. I didn't know that, but maybe that's false reporting. I don't know. At any rate.
He's very skinny.
Yeah, the news is that he's very thankful because he had prolonged bronchitis. And I think for everyone listening, probably 4 out of 5, if not more, probably 9 out of 10, maybe 99 out of 100, probably 9 out of 100 lung cancers are related to smoking. And so if you have prolonged respiratory symptoms, whether or not, you smoke, get an MRI, get a CT scan, ask your doc about getting worked up for that. They found it early. Apparently they're going to cut it out, and he'll be good. You don't listen to Barry Manilow in your spare time?
That was my grandparents' music.
Oh, listen to you.
I mean, literally, my grandmother, who would, if she was alive today, would be 119.
Gary,
loved herself some Barry Manilow.